All right, welcome back to What the Fork. I am Adam Minnick. We have a guest here, Dylan Vattelana. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, nice. You nailed it. I heard you practice my name like 6 times beforehand, but you nailed it that one. That was
Well,
you did perfect.
I make mistakes, and a lot of them, a lot of mistakes. So, how have you been?
I've been okay. It's obviously very, very difficult now being a stand-up comedian. Most of the shows are through this format right here, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's a good format for a podcast, not a great format for a live crowd, but yeah, just trying to scratch and survive at the moment. And yourself, how have you been?
Good. I've been well. As good as it can be, I guess. The show's canceled and all that, so I guess we're doing this now. I mean, I didn't do this for over a year. I think my last podcast I mentioned that I haven't done this over a year, and then a guy named Joe Bates has had an album coming out. He's like, "Hey, I want to do a podcast." I'm like, this is a good chance to get this going up and going again. A little different format, but I was like, what the hell? Why not? Let's just do this. I've got nothing else going on, so and yeah, so
Yeah.
cool. Anything new in your life?
I am going to be moving. I currently live in Virginia. I'm going to be moving from Virginia down to St. Petersburg, Florida.
Cool.
Going to be living with my friend down there. But I'm planning on moving down there because Florida, as you know, they're not intelligent people, and they've reopened probably too soon, which
Yeah.
is probably bad for Corona and the country, but it's good for comedy
Yeah.
because and that's something I desperately need. So I'm going to move down there and just try to get back on track and hit all the open mics and start getting booked in the clubs again. I've already worked at the Tampa Bay Improv a couple of times, so
Oh, nice.
hopefully I'll be able to get back in there. So that'd be nice.
And then, I mean, I worked at the Funny Bone here in Cincinnati, and it was a blast working with you. And I believe we did a short skit as well. So I will include that at the end of this podcast, so those watching can watch it. Those listening, you're out of luck. Sorry.
Yeah.
But we worked with who were we working with? Was it?
Well, the first night it was Julia Johns.
Okay, that's right.
Remember that? And then the
Yeah.
rest of the weekend it was, what is his name?
The John Heffron.
John Heffron. Yeah, it was John
Yeah,
Heffron.
yeah, John Heffron. Yeah.
And that's who I ended up working with in Tampa Bay.
And that's the thing, because we worked that weekend and it was right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then I think a week later, I got COVID. So
really,
yeah, I was out for 2 weeks.
I apologize for giving you that. That was not my intention.
Well, as much hugging as we did, I mean, that's what happened. So
I farted in your coffee, and I don't know if that's how it spread, but that's what I did.
The spicy coffee, spicy. But yeah, it was weird because I think that last night I just had a headache, and then that for the next few days I just had headaches. I was like, what is going on? And then I was wiped out. I was on a couch. It was like the bed or the couch. What am I going to do today? But
that's kind of how my day is anyway. But I don't have COVID. I just stay in the bed or the couch. I think that's pretty much everybody's experience now. You just felt sick. Did you actually have the symptoms? Did you feel sick?
I had gastrointestinal issues for 10 days. I had fevers. I had a fever for 9 days, I think. And my wife and I slept in separate beds because I didn't want to give her what I had. Luckily, she didn't get anything. But I had fever. I think the 8th night, my bed was soaked from I just sweat it all out. I mean,
okay.
The 9th, I think that was the 8th night, and the 9th night, I was okay. Because it was weird. During the day, I was okay. I just had no energy, and I couldn't keep anything down. I had absolutely no appetite. Like I love to eat. I will. My brother-in-law has nicknamed me Hooves after the Hoover vacuum. Like I will eat everything. I couldn't eat any. I had absolutely no appetite. I would eat maybe. I think the 3rd or 4th day, I had a half a piece of toast, and then maybe Chick-fil-A. Like just trying to eat something.
Just try to put something on your stomach.
Yeah, I couldn't eat. It was awful. I was like, I never want this again. Luckily, I haven't.
Luckily, I don't think you can get it again.
I don't know. I mean, they claim after 3 or 4 months that you no longer have the antibodies. Because there's an article I read, some guy just kept getting it, but I'm like, I don't think he's being very careful. If you keep
No, that just sounds like a very good excuse to give your job. Like if you didn't want to come in. Yeah, I got COVID for the 6th time. I can't make it in again.
I'm in Hawaii, but I've got COVID.
Yeah. Excuse me, I can't make it.
Brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a wild. I mean, it's been a wild year. And have you been writing still? I write almost every day still, but it's like I'm at this point. I'm like, what's the point right now?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get it. I actually haven't been. It's very difficult for me to write when there's no stimulus. Like if I'm not actively going out every night and trying to
Yeah.
to perfect it, because when kind of in what you just said, like for what point? Like I could write, a lot of jokes, and you have 9 months of jokes stacked up that
Yeah.
you don't know if they work or not, and then you're gonna try them all out, and it's I don't know. If I'm not doing something, it's very hard for me to think creatively like that. So I've kind of been in a rut, to be completely honest with you. It's kind of been in a writing rut, and I've gotten a couple of ideas here and there that I definitely know I'm gonna try whenever I get back up
Yeah.
again.
I thought of one because I've said this before. My last podcast was I went out and filmed Dry Bar and my comedy special, which was really exciting. And then after that, everything got canceled, everything got rescheduled. But I did write, I think 2 weeks prior to going out there, I just had a new idea. And I really, open mics, to me, I was taking a risk going to open mics. I was like, man, I gotta get this ready for the special so I can after the special, I can just like chill and wait till everything cools down. But I had one where when I used to teach, I taught 2nd grade, and this one girl at recess duty, she runs up to me and she goes, Mr. Minnick, you're a teacher, you're poor. I'm like, that's a little mean.
Wow.
She's like, you live in the parking lot. I'm like, this kid knows too much. That's a smart kid.
Yeah.
I was subbing today, and I thought of one because I had to go down to the preschool, and because I was wearing a sport coat, t-shirt under the sport coat, but preschool, like 5 preschoolers go, you look rich. I was like, that's like that easy. I
Because you wore a blazer.
Yeah, you wore a sport coat out, which women are like, you look rich because you got a blazer on or a sport. Oh, give me your number.
Yeah.
Just kind of like these. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's interesting that this kid clearly pointed out that you were poor, and she's, if you're a teacher, you're probably right. She's probably right, but it's also, I mean, that's macroeconomics is far too advanced for this child. I don't. Whatever if you may be poor, but you're a very good teacher.
Yeah, that's funny. Like, so preschoolers, if you wear a coat, if you wear a jacket, you're rich. But if you're a teacher and a 2nd grader knows you're poor. So I think the 1st grade's right in the middle there.
Right in your wheelhouse. If wearing a blazer or sports jacket makes you rich, I wonder how that kid would think when they saw it, because a lot of homeless people wear sports jackets.
I know.
And like a hoodie underneath with a sports jacket. So if I was that kid, I'd probably think they were rich too.
Yeah. All right. This is a little close to a Norm Macdonald joke, but like a rich camper. Right? Like that one joke Norm does says, saw a homeless guy with a dog. Dog probably thinks it's the longest walk in the world. Great.
I love that joke. Yeah, that's great.
Do you have a joke that you wrote and you're like, man, this is gonna just demolish, and then you tried it and just nothing?
Yeah,
I've had a lot of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's most of my acts, but it is. Yeah, I've written some. I mean, there's always ideas that you have that you're like, this is gonna. I can make this work. And even when the audience tells you no, you're like, maybe I didn't do it right, but there are some that you're like, I know this will work one day. And for me, I always have this idea in my head, and this is a ridiculous joke, but I love sports, and I love, I like the feel good stories of sports too. Like every year I know there was a couple years ago, there was a big one, but every year you kind of hear about these type of stories. A couple years ago, there was a high school basketball team, and the manager of the high school basketball team is another student, and this student had like Down syndrome, and he was the manager. He loved basketball, and he would always get them water and but he never played because he's the manager. But the last game of the season, the coach told him he was going to put him in. They put him in, and he like made a 3-pointer, and the whole crowd went crazy. And it was great.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and then he ended up hitting like 7 or 8 3-pointers in the game, and that's such an amazing story. But from my perspective, if you're the other team, how many do you let him hit before you start playing some defense? Like we were, yeah, you put him in because you got, our team was winning by 30 points and now we're tied because this he's like crossing people up and dunking on people. Like, why wasn't this kid playing the whole year?
That's funny.
It's a ridiculous concept, but I think it hasn't gotten a lot of response from crowds in a positive manner because they think that I'm making fun of the child.
No, I get it. I guess as a comic, I don't see it that way. I see it as, the kid's good.
He's a beast.
That team they've been, what's the word for it? Poker players do it. They bluff. They're not calling it bluff, but he's, I'm not very smart. We had to reschedule last night to today because my in-laws were in town and they're flying back to Puerto Rico today. They're like, thank God we're out of this weather. This sucks. But yeah, they just basically they were sandbagging it the whole season, and they brought this kid in.
Exactly, he's their ace in the hole, but it's just I don't know why my mind immediately goes to the other team. Like, if he hits 1, that's a great story. He hits 7, like we're gonna have to double team this kid. Like I'm gonna have to foul him really hard. I got to send a message.
That's the problem with being a comic. You find the humor in everything. Like there was a story, I believe it was in Iowa, where first of all, I have an issue with all these baby announcements and marriage and not engagements. Like people try to outdo each other. And there's a story, I don't know if you heard about this. This couple they took an aluminum pole and they put gunpowder in it, a colored pink or blue, and then they closed off one side of it and they lit it, and essentially they made a pipe bomb.
Oh yeah.
And when they lit it, the shrapnel flew out and it hit a grandmother and then rushed her to the hospital. And she died, sadly. And first place I went to, he was like, I know what you're thinking was it a boy or a girl? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be too mean for a stage, for a crowd, but.
Why did somebody have to die for a person to be born? That's just.
Circle of Life, Lion King.
Yeah. Where did who gave them the anarchist cookbook as a baby shower gift?
Antifa. It's an Antifa announcement.
Antifa, yeah.
I don't get why we have to outdo each other online. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a self-serving thing. It's inside. It's like, I know it's about the baby, but it's really about me. And
I could say that.
Get more likes.
I could say like how crave for attention all these people, but then again, I'm like, I'm a comedian. I'll do what I can do to get attention. So
yeah. How crave for attention are these fucking assholes?
Yeah.
Am I right, guys? Come on, clap for me. Clap for me.
Please like this. Please like this comment. Please.
Go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. And that's one of my favorite things to hear on YouTube. Go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button.
How about I not? How about I not?
How about I not? How about I block you on YouTube? No, I think it's a good joke. Definitely needs there's a lot of room for tags and stuff at the end.
Yeah. But I think yours is great. Like with the kid who has Down syndrome, hitting those threes.
It has never worked. It's never worked.
Would have been great had that been the state championship game and the other team felt like they were ahead enough.
Yeah.
And then he was like, they're letting this guy hit the threes. And they can't hear the coach yelling because the crowd is so loud. And the kid ends up winning the state championship game for his team.
Yeah, for the state, yeah. But it kind of boils down to, because I played basketball in high school and everything, and I also played for a church league as well. The church league was way more fun because it wasn't a lot of pressure, and they didn't drug test, so it was definitely more enjoyable. But in church league, like anybody can play, like literally anybody can play. So there was a couple games where I would be guarding a girl, Like I'd be guarding another, I'm 17 and she's, 15 maybe. Like anybody, literally any child can play. So I'm guarding her, and it's a lose-lose scenario because if I block her, then I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
But if I let her score, then I'm still an asshole. Like, dude, don't let her score.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about that. Like you got to let them have like 1 or 2 shots. But if they make both of those, like you have more points than me now. I get to guard you.
Yeah. I'm for you. Is that your new, that's your platform, right? When you run for president?
Yeah, I'm going to be running for president. Yeah.
Nice.
That's why we really couldn't get together yesterday, because I was getting back from DC yesterday.
I thought I recognized you in Pelosi's office.
I'm secretly Antifa, so.
Man, who would have thought that would have happened? I mean, that's something like you see in South America or Central America or
North America now.
Indiana.
Yeah, or Indiana. Yeah. I'm really shocked at how many people are just now learning the word coup. I think a lot of people. Huh?
Wait, that's cuckoo. Is that what coup?
It's just one of those. Just
a coup.
Just a coup. People just, I hear people that have no idea what that word means now just saying they're trying to throw a coup. It's like, you didn't know what that word was 2 days ago. Don't say it with that much confidence.
Right.
Yeah. But no, huh?
They're calling it insurrection. It's like, is that a movie coming out?
Yeah. Is that, I know my doctor gave me pills for that. I don't have insurrection anymore. I have a good one now.
I thought it was Alien Insurrection, the prequel to the Resurrection.
Yeah. Is that the prequel to the Bible? Insurrection, Jesus too, insurrection.
I'm not good at the words because my wife will she's so much smarter than me, and she talks about they recused themselves. Like, yeah, they shouldn't do that. Like, I'm just trying to play along, trying to sound smart. It's not good to recuse anyone.
Yeah, don't recuse. Do you recuse yourself? Sometimes you have to pay for that,
I believe accuse is to accuse once again. You recuse.
You recuse. You've been accused again. You've been recused.
I should get a dictionary.
That's not what that means, but yeah.
No.
I thought, first time I ever heard that word, I thought it meant like recluse, like a spider.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So this guy is a spider now? He's no longer a senator, or I don't know what that means, but.
Recuse man.
Recuse man. He was bitten by a radioactive recuse.
Oh man, do you have any? Let's talk about a joke, if you can remember a joke that went surprisingly well.
Yeah.
That you didn't expect to. Maybe right on stage, something happened.
Yeah. One of my first jokes I ever, I kind of came up with it. I did come up with it on stage, and I was performing in Richmond, and I was opening for, I don't remember who I was opening for, but the headliner was African American. So everybody in the audience is essentially African American, and I am the only white person there, and they already don't like me. I'm not doing particularly well. But I had an idea for a joke, but I didn't have a punchline, and I just had ran out of material. So I kind of was like, well, nothing's really working. I'll just throw this out.
Yeah.
And see. And the joke is one of the ones that's still kind of in my act is I talk about how I have anxiety and I'm not good at like dirty talking with other women. And that's essentially all I had was I'm just not good at dirty talking. And I didn't have an example for it. I didn't have a punchline. I was just that. I'm not good at dirty talking. And then, but as soon as I said that, I could hear some laughter, which is the only laughter that I got the whole set. So I was like, okay, I'll just keep talking about this because it got a laugh. And then I was like, I was trying to think of something a girl, would she want me to say, or, she's like, what do you want to do to me or something? And it got to the point, and that all of those were kind of getting laughs along the way. But the big one that I had was, I was trying to dirty talk to her, and I said, you know how you're going to be walking tomorrow when I'm done with you? And she said, how? And I was like, probably the same the same way you walked in. And I thought of that on stage, and that got a huge laugh. And I was supposed to do 10 minutes, but I was like 7 minutes in, and I was like, "That's my time. I'm gonna cut it short."
I know, leaving a high note because it's not gonna get better than this.
Yeah, it's not getting better than that. That was but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not I like to write on stage, but I'm not very. I like to write more off stage and then
yeah,
tag it on stage, but not necessarily come up with some brand new thing on stage.
yeah. I don't know. There's some comics and they just go up and riff. Like I don't know how they do. I envy that because I mean for me I have to write word for word. I can't just There's a joke I did. I was going to an open mic. Was actually leading up to going up to Utah for the special, but I was on the way up mic. There was a Goodwill outlet store. I'm like, I mentioned like, how bad is that stuff in there? If it's a Goodwill outlet store,
Yeah, it's a good one.
it is collars. What is it? Just moth shoot through sweaters. Like, how bad is it? It's huge. It's huge.
It's just the tassels that go on like a general's sleeve, like a shoulders. It's just those little tassels that go on the sides. That's all. Really.
And that went over so well. I'm like, I gotta try another new one. So on the way to there was an Amazon truck broken down, and you know how they're so set on getting things delivered that day. And the guy was just tossing Amazon packages to everyone to deliver it. And that didn't go. Take this one. That didn't go as well.
I'm 1 for 1. Might as well not stop here.
Brought me back down to where I should be. I was so yeah.
That's good. Stay humble. If you were batting 1,000 on every joke, first of all, we wouldn't be doing this podcast together.
I know.
And two, like your ego would be so huge, and I like you humble. I like you as a humble man that you are.
Thanks. That and the show production value being so low as it is, which is free.
This isn't sponsored by Blue Apron. Are you sure this isn't sponsored by?
No, it's not. It's not. It's sponsored by Micro Machine.
Oh, nice.
That's my Micro Machine collection.
It's pretty nice. I like it.
I found it at my parents' house. So, yeah.
I will say this. I recently did do a brand new joke, like similar to that that I thought of on the way to the show. I headlined in Fort Wayne, Indiana, a couple weeks ago, and then I went out to Iowa, and then I drove this is the worst drive I've ever had, by the way. I drove from Iowa to Pensacola, Florida, which is 16 and a half hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was real bad. But I drove through Mississippi, and I don't know that much about, well, like, how much do you know about Mississippi?
It's in the South.
It's in the South.
Mississippi burning. That's all I know. Like that phrase. Yeah.
Yeah. So the two worst things about it. Okay. No, but I didn't know. I was driving through Mississippi on my way because Pensacola is like right at the panhandle of like Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, all of those right there.
Yeah.
And I was driving through Mississippi, and I thought of this as like, I don't know that much about it. Like the only thing I know, Jackson's the capital, right? I know that. Actually, I did know that the state flower was a magnolia.
Oh.
I did know that. And but besides that, I also know that the first successful open heart transplant was conducted by James D. Hardy in 1967. But besides those three things, I really don't know that much about it. Those specific things. But I looked up, they are ranked 48th in education. They're ranked, which is not surprising, but I didn't know the exact number. They're ranked 48th in English and 49th in math. So they're the 49th state ranked in math. Why do we use Mississippi to count numbers? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. I feel like that's just mean. We're just rubbing it in every time we count. That's just so super mean. And I don't know why they chose Mississippi. Any 4-syllable state would work. 1 Alabama, 2. Well, that one actually doesn't work as well. 1 California, 2 North Dakota. There's so many other states we could use. Yeah. And I don't know why we use one of the worst states at math. But I thought of that on the way down there.
That's
funny. Did it in Florida, and they loved it. And that was like one of the last times that I had one of those. I'll just throw it out and see what happens, and it worked. So, but that was the only time I got to do it, that one show.
No, that's funny. To connect those two, man.
Why do you think they chose Mississippi?
Maybe it's the length of 1 second. It takes 1 second to say Mississippi.
Yeah, but it's Alabama is like the same amount of syllables.
Yeah.
In North Dakota, like they could have used any other word. 1 Kardashian, 2 Kardashian.
Did you hear they're getting divorced? That might be getting divorced.
I get it. I got a chance.
First shaking. That's all.
I got a chance. Me and Kanye are going to be forever and ever.
Man, those people, I don't.
Sorry, I got dogs barking out in the background.
Who let them dogs out?
Who let them dogs out?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
How is it? Everything okay?
Everything's good. I had 3 dogs, now I have 2, so it's fine.
All
right, you were saying about Kanye.
They make as much sense as cologne and perfume commercials. Like I don't understand why people are so infatuated with them. Like they're just so. Why? What's the point? Why do we
care?
Yeah, why do we care about people who basically? Okay, Kanye has done something, but the Kardashians, like they've done nothing with their lives yet. They have so much money.
Yeah, well, it's circular reasoning. It's why are they famous?
Okay.
Because everybody knows them. Why does everybody know them? Because they're famous. It makes no sense. The only thing I think it was because their biological dad was the lawyer for O.J. Simpson.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I think I did know that. Yeah.
It was like Johnny Cochran, and then I don't know what his first name is, but his last name was Kardashian. Like that was their dad. He was on the legal team for O.J. Simpson. And Chad Daniels, Chad Daniels, the comedian.
Yeah, very good.
Chad Daniels has one of the best jokes about it. He goes, I think the brand for the Kardashians, because Kim hooked up with Ray J in the sex tape and everything.
Yeah.
I think the brand for Kardashians should be getting black men off since 1990. Yeah, which is a great joke.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, they're famous in the same way that any celebrity is famous.
Yeah.
I mean, some celebrities can act and some can sing and some can't, and they're still celebrities.
Yeah. I mean, I don't follow too many. I couldn't care either way. I actually have been buying it's a coffee brand Hugh Jackman has gone in with. He met a coffee farmer when he was on holiday with his wife, and they found out that these coffee farmers they're making pennies to the dollar on the dollar. They get screwed over by these big coffee companies. So he actually started a company. All the profits go towards this company called Laughing Man Coffee. And so he's kind of he says he's trying to do with coffee like Paul Newman did with salad dressing. So I've been ordering coffee from him, and it's actually really good. I'm a fan of coffee. I've got the grinder. I've got French press, baby. That's the only way to go. French press. And I have a cappuccino machine. But man, I ordered this coffee. I ordered 2 bags of it, and it's some of the best coffee I've ever had. Honestly, it's really good. So I'm like, I kind of follow him, and he's Wolverine too. So
yeah, you can't say no to him.
Right. But other than that, like I have no desire to spend time watching these celebrities. It's a waste.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all entertainment. So if a celebrity is very good at acting or good at singing, or you want to put on Keeping Up with the Kardashians and just watch famous people do nothing, it's still kind of entertainment.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're not good at it, but they get good ratings. So who's to say they're not good at it?
Yeah. Kind of like The Bachelor or Bachelorette. I mean, I guess it's geared towards women, I guess.
Yeah.
And some men.
So, why did you say it like that? No, why did you say it? I'd like you to expand upon what "some" means in some men.
Next topic.
Yeah, okay, we'll move on. Got it.
Have you watched the Masked Singer?
I have not watched it, but I know what it is. And
buddy of mine in Chicago, Brian Hicks. I don't know if you know him. Comic, good guy. His kids watch it. It's great for families. It's safe. But the judges on it, they're trying to figure out the Masked Singers. They throw out names of people who are still relevant. So they're not going to be on the show if they're relevant. But someone said, I think Ken Jeong, the comedian, Ken Jeong, He said LeBron James. It's like LeBron James is not going to be on the Masked Singer.
He might.
I don't think so. It's all people who are like still trying to be relevant. Kind of like what The Voice does. The Voice doesn't. They don't really help anyone out. They just help their own brand.
Yeah.
All those judges are kind of have-beens, but once they're on, it's like the Super Bowl. You do the halftime show, you sell more albums because people watch you. So it's kind of that effect, I guess. But now it's the Masked Dancer, which I can kind of see singer, but dancer, really?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can try to guess who they are by the way that they move, but people sound very different from one another. You could probably guess that, but just unless it's like, I think that guy in the wheelchair, I think that's Stephen Hawking. Anyone else? Like if it's like that, then you're like, okay, I have a pretty good guess of who this might be.
Professor X. Is that
Professor X.
He's not even real.
Yeah, but it's him. Professor X needs that clout. He's trying to get famous again.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Roku, almost forgot to get to this. When you go back to the writing, how you write, what is your process? Like for me, again, I have to sit down and write I try to write every day, at least write before I go to bed. What about you? Like obviously you can't do it on stage at that moment for the most part. What do you do? What's your process?
If I don't have an idea that I am actively trying to work on, like right now, I when I think of an idea that I think would be funny or silly, I'll put it down on my phone. And then when I get the chance to kind of sit back and have time to lay out some papers and write and connect some dots, I will flesh out an idea as much as possible. You know, there's the old writing adage is you write 5 pages and you might get half a page that is good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my attack at it. I will write and exhaust a lot of ideas. And even when I'm writing them, I know that they're not funny, but I still need to write it just to get it out of my head.
Yeah.
And keep my mind open, because that might not be funny, but the next one line after that might be good. So I kind of take, now with coming up with material, I kind of take like a shotgun approach to it. Me and my friend Anthony Thompson is a very good comedian in Richmond, Virginia. We've had this discussion a few times where he said he likes to go with like more of like a sniper, where you have one idea and you try to nail that idea, which is, there's no wrong way to do it. My approach is I will take many ideas with many different topics and jokes and just throw them at a wall like if I'm going to open mic, if I have 5 minutes, I might do 6 jokes, 7 jokes, just throw a bunch of ideas, and whatever one sticks, those are the ones that I then take, and then I'll expand on those.
Okay, cool.
So that's kind of my idea, but there's no right way to do it, but there are a lot of wrong ways to do it.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your style? What do you like to do?
You know, I on my phone, I'll keep like a note, like notes, topics I want to cover. So if I'm driving, I can just do the voice, I can talk into it, and it puts it down. And then I'll sit, before I go to bed, I'll sit down and just write it out. I also, in my office, I painted one wall that whiteboard paint. So then I can write topics I want to cover. And then I'll just put I'll put bullet points, like ideas. Maybe these could be different ways to take this joke, and then I'll just sit and look at the wall, like I'm looking at it right now. I'll look at the wall and like, okay, I want to do this joke, want to do like maybe take it in this direction because I wrote these bullet points, subtopics for this one idea. I should do it more than what I do. I get lazy at times, but I will write almost every night before I go to bed.
I got to back up a little bit. You painted a wall in your house as a whiteboard?
Yeah, like it's not a very big wall. It's kind of like right next to the doorway, but it's big enough where I can just write ideas down with a whiteboard marker.
With a Sharpie, or not a Sharpie, but an Expo.
Yeah,
marker.
Expo, and just erase it. But I found out you need to erase it within a week because it just sticks.
Oh,
So
that's not good.
I have to go get more paint.
Okay. Well, where do you get that? I know we're kind of going off topic, but I've never heard of, I thought it was an actual piece of plastic. I didn't know you could paint.
Yeah, you can. I got it at Home Depot. They don't pay me to say that, but I don't think Lowe's has it. Maybe Lowe's does, but I think I got it at Home Depot. I did buy chalkboard paint to put a chalkboard in my kitchen so I can write down things I need, like reminders. So
Chalkboard paint?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's actually really
What
neat.
kind of paint don't they have? Like I didn't know I thought the
Scratch and
chalkboard was an
sniff.
actual, huh?
They don't have scratch and sniff.
They don't have scratch and sniff? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try Lowe's for that one.
I think that's at your local hardware store.
Yeah.
Scratch and sniff.
Ace is the place where you scratch and sniff today. No, that's really cool. I like that idea of, and I think you and I are both similar in that way, that we're both visual type of people, where I need to write it down, whether it be on, I actually have a whiteboard over here, but where I need to either write it down or I just have to see it. Even if I'm doing if I have to headline and if I'm going to do the exact same set from night to night, I will still write down my set because it just helps me remember it in a certain order. Yeah.
I'm the same.
So, even if I'm doing the same jokes, I will write down even in the same order. I will still write it down. I won't just go back a page and look at the one from yesterday. I need to write a brand new one.
Yeah, I'll have that. I'll do a set over and over at clubs and every night, whatever, and then I'll still forget a joke, and it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Because there's one of my favorite jokes. I do a Hallmark bit. And there's a night I forgot it. And it was a night that was going so well that this joke would have been just a cherry on the top, right? Just something nice to throw in there. And because it always does well, except for the Cincinnati Funny Bone up in Westchester.
Really?
Because I think the women up there love Hallmark so much, they will defend it till they die. Like it is, you watch these movies, they're just like, yeah, I get it. It's safe, it's predictable, it's easy.
Yeah.
There are no bald people, no overweight people, no one's ugly. But then we like
I love Hallmark movies. I love No. I don't. Hold on. Let me clarify. I don't like them.
Okay.
But I love them because I think they're funny.
We love them because they're so bad.
It's so bad.
So bad, but it's easy to follow. And you know what's going to happen. My favorite part is when the two people are about to kiss for the first time and then something interrupts it.
Yeah, like a dog with a leash runs around him and ties them together. Or a snowball hits him. Hey, get out of here, you kids. Like that kind of thing.
Like a doorbell or a dog barking in the background. Something that it would never interrupt the first kiss, but interrupts every first kiss in Hallmark.
Have you seen the Hallmark movie where it's like a British prince and then he finds like some average?
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point too. Every Hallmark movie, and I think it's just preying upon women's idea to one day become a princess.
Yeah.
Because it's always like it's an average woman that is of no nobility. She's American. She works as a journalist, or she does this. But it's like the Meghan Markle thing where she just kind of stumbled in to becoming a princess. I don't want all this on my plate. I guess I'll be a princess. It's a very ridiculous concept.
That's what all little girls want, that, right? To marry a prince.
Some little boys.
That is true. We're gonna get shut down. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? And
not anything wrong with that. Some do.
Now there's one. If you go on Netflix and type in a Christmas Prince, the guy, he hurts himself skiing, so he has to be administered to so the kingdom in this one fictional land, so people don't know the prince is hurt. So he has to go to a hospital, a children's hospital in America. And of course, the doctor, she's very attractive, beautiful. But he's in a children's hospital and he visits the children who are going through radiation treatment because they're chemotherapy, because they've got cancer. Of course, he's not wearing any protection. Any real situation, these kids they would die from it because but it's such a terrible, the guy looks like a marionette doll. Like the puppets with the strip.
Yeah.
He's got this huge head, and there's a scene where he's dancing with the children, and he looks like a robot. He dances like a robot, right? He's trying to dance, and he's ridiculous. But there's a Christmas Prince. Don't get that confused with Christmas Prince.
I was gonna say, because I've seen Christmas Prince, and then you said a Christmas Prince. Don't tell me how that ends. Don't tell me how that ends, because I'm reading the book currently, and I don't want to ruin
I would love to read it once you're done with it. I mean,
Oh my
I hear
God,
it's better than
Christmas
the
Prince.
actual
Have you read
movie.
the second one? You check out the second
No.
one, Christmas Prince 2, Electric Boogaloo. It's so good.
There's actually a
It's
sequel to A Christmas Prince, by the
yeah,
way.
it's yeah, a Christmas Prince, two Christmas Princes. Yeah, yeah.
But here's the thing.
Two Prince, two Furious is what it is.
Here's the thing. They don't like that joke in Westchester. And since we work together, they just don't.
Yeah.
They're not a fan of it. Now, if you go to Lifetime and watch Christmas movies, they're very progressive, which is I'm very happy. I'm more willing to watch that because there's a girl. She's the lead and she's in a wheelchair. Okay, which is great because that's a
Well,
representation.
it's not great. She's in a wheelchair, but yeah.
No, that's not great. I misspoke. But it's finally a representation for people who like those movies and finally watching someone else in a wheelchair. It's not such a perfect world like Hallmark. And then you've got another Lifetime is they had there was a homosexual couple was the main focus. Like finally something that's a little more realistic.
Yeah.
But it's just.
Now, I do have a question. Was
Yeah.
the person in a wheelchair, were they actually in a wheelchair in real life? Because if not, then that's stealing a role.
I believe she's actually handicapped.
Okay.
And
Well,
she's in a wheelchair, and
well, that's good.
That is, it's more. Lifetime is more progressive. Lifetime is more. I can get more with Lifetime. Still, both channels, the stories are ridiculous. And if you look at those actors and actresses, they're like worth $2 or $3 million. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're worth $2-3 million. Lacey Chabert, I think she's worth like $3 million.
Way to go. You're talking about the girl, she was the girl that was the original. I know this is off topic, but she was the original voice of Meg Griffin on Family Guy.
Yes, I
know exactly what you're talking about.
I finally found that out after watching one of the Family Guy episodes, and they make a reference to Lacey Chabert.
I know exactly. They go back in time.
Yeah.
And then he said, why does Meg's voice sound so weird? And then Stewie goes, I don't know. It sounds like somebody that's going to make a horrible decision or something like that. Make it fun. Because she quit the show because she didn't think it was a good show.
She's lost out a lot of money. Let's just say that.
Did.
That was the skiing one when she was going to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I think Meg was going to the Olympics. So, yeah.
Yeah. This became a Family Guy podcast real quick.
I know. Became a Hallmark, Lifetime, and off. We've really gone downhill.
So let me get this straight. So Lifetime and Hallmark are essentially the same thing, but Lifetime is more progressive.
Yeah.
Hallmark is probably made more for. I think Hallmark is like the Fox News, like conservative, and Lifetime is more like the progressive liberal.
Yeah, I would say so. And then there's Human Centipede, another romantic comedy.
Yeah, I saw that on. If you watch that on TNT, because TNT knows drama. If you watch it on TNT, they edit out the movie's like 10 minutes long. You get through it really, really quickly.
There was David Spade is talking about that. Something how he when things going downhill, when movies go downhill, and when he said when the cast signed on to do that movie, that's when that went downhill.
Yeah.
Like how desperate you have to be in a movie to be, you know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have my face stitched onto someone else's back end, and that's my call to fame. Like,
but think of I go deeper into like think of the agents arguing back and forth like no my character is specifically stated in the contract. My character was going to be at the front of the Human Centipede. We get first billing and we're at the front of the Human Centipede. You have us at the middle position, which we all know is the worst. We can all agree upon that it's the worst. Yeah. Like just the agents arguing over who gets to be in what centipede position is now that's not going to leave my brain for a few days.
Man, I don't, there's some movies you watch, you're like, how does this get made? Like who funded Human Centipede? Was it like,
I think it was a GoFundMe, maybe.
I think it was Pepto-Bismol and GoFundMe.
It was Jeff Bezos. He wanted to show what everything's going to be like in 20 years.
He's letting,
how much money did it take to make?
I don't know. I was going to get to this question because this will bring me to an interesting fact. One of my favorite comedies is Airplane.
Oh
Love
yeah,
Airplane.
classic.
They basically they took a movie that was done in the '60s about a guy who had to land a plane. He was a passenger, and they took it basically. It's almost scene for scene, but they turned it into a comedy. It cost them $3 million to make, and they made 130 million, 150 million dollars off of it.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the funniest movies. Like Comedy Central rated that, I think, in the top 5 funniest movies ever made, because laughs per minute, it's like I think it's like every 10, 15 seconds, there's a joke. Somewhere there's a joke, visual, audio, whatever. For me, that's one of my favorite comedies. Dumb and Dumber is up there. I could watch that over and over. What about you? What would be your like favorite comedy?
Oh man. My favorite comedy would probably, and it's not, it's kind of strange. So I would put it as it's in my top 5 favorite movies, regardless of all time. But it's also funny, but it's also just an amazing movie. I would consider it a comedy. Is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No, and I need to.
Yes, you do. It is a fantastic movie. I would consider it a comedy. It's very funny, but it's got serious parts in it. But it's. Are you familiar with Homer's The Odyssey?
Yeah.
So it's a new age version of the Odyssey. There's a man who needs to get to this thing, and he has to go through all of these circumstances to get there. He's got a destination he needs to get to. But it's a 1920s version of the Odyssey, written and directed by the Coen brothers. But it is absolutely hilarious. It's very funny. George Clooney is my favorite movie he was ever in. But favorite comedies, man. Yeah, I mean, Airplanes is really funny. It was one of the first slapstick kind of, like parody movies.
Yeah.
And Leslie Nielsen is one of my favorite comedic actors of all time. In that, and he also did The Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Which were hilarious.
I think the Airplane movies was kind of that paved the way for movies like that. Kind of actually like Naked Gun. Those movies tried being like Airplane. I think I had heard that because.
Oh yeah, it was the same director. It was the same director from Airplane and The Naked Gun.
Then that makes sense.
But I think the first parody movies were actually not that. One of the first big parody movies were probably Mel Brooks's Blazing Saddles.
Great movie.
Yeah, amazing movie. I don't know, favorite comedies of all time. Definitely Oh Brother, Where Art Thou has got to be in there.
Interesting fact about that. I'm a big Mumford & Sons fan. Love Mumford & Sons. Springsteen's up there.
I can see that just looking at you, but keep going.
We got the Unshaven. Apparently, they were saying one of their inspirations for music was that movie, like the soundtrack. Apparently.
For Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Really, it's got an amazing soundtrack. It's got absolutely
the soundtrack, and I think that was one of the things that I'm not sure. I don't think it motivated, but was it made an impression on their music. So I need to go. I just need to watch it. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen. Citizen Kane. I haven't seen. There's some movies I should see.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If you watch Citizen Kane now, you're gonna look at it and be like, "Why is this considered the greatest movie of all time?" It's not that great. But it was extremely influential in terms of that. That's why they consider it the greatest movie of all time.
Okay.
Is because he was Orson Welles, I believe, directed. He was the first one to shoot from weird angles and use lighting in certain way. Before that, movies were just here's a scene, here's the person walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I would say another one of my favorite movies. It's extremely underrated. Is in my top 5 is Shaun of the Dead, which is another parody movie in a way, but it's just written. Edgar Wright is the director of that, and he did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He did Hot Fuzz. He's a very good director of comedy because, and I watched a video about why, but it's talking about how most American comedies nowadays are just lightly edited improv. Where you have, the Anchorman and, Bridesmaids, they're all kind of sitting around talking to each other.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but there's a lot more you can do with the camera to make it funny.
Yeah. One of my favorite comedies up there is, in my top 5 would be Arthur with Dudley Moore. Mr. Mom, like Michael Keaton. I don't know. I prefer the old comedies. There's something about them. I think the writing's better. I think it's smarter writing. I don't know. The more effort put into it. The old comedies.
It might also be just because they had to be better writers, because movies today bank off of celebrity. Like you can put Will Ferrell in any movie and people are going to go watch it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they bank off celebrity, and they also bank off the production value.
Yeah.
And production value, while obviously for every time period there's a level of production value that is cutting edge.
Yeah.
A lot of those, especially comedies, didn't have that kind of production value. Like what is a high what in your mind right now, can you think of a very high budget comedy movie? Like a Michael Bay style budget, but for comedy.
Titanic.
It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Big budget comedy, man. They're not out. You watch like romantic comedies. There's not big budget. I mean, any comedy that just they're not a lot of money put into them.
No, because the return is low. It's going to get watched, but it's not going to be like the blockbuster hit of the summer.
Right.
So you can't put it that much money into it. But you have the star power, you have the celebrity. So you kind of bank on that. People are going to watch it, so it doesn't necessarily have to be good.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I think there was more emphasis on the writing and the actual story development.
Did you ever watch, this is not a comedy, it's a serious, did you watch the movie, it's the guy who did all the Batman movies, The Batman Begins.
Dark Knight?
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan?
He did the World War II movie, The Island in England.
Dunkirk?
Such a good movie.
Very funny.
Visually, and those are original World War II planes.
Yeah.
They used, huge
very,
fan.
very good. There was another movie that was similar to Dunkirk. I guess it came out recently, but I don't know. It's not similar because it's another war movie though. But
World War I, I think.
1917.
Yeah, it's a World War I movie. I haven't watched
1917.
That, and I wanted to see it so badly.
I saw it on a plane, and it was fantastic. It's the way that it's shot. It's shot to resemble one scene.
Oh, really?
So you follow. It's obviously you can kind of tell where the cuts are because you're following this guy, and it's like you're taking on a point of view perspective, but you're not a person, and you're just kind of following him.
Okay.
And then he goes into like this dark, shady room, and that's where they cut it. But then it just continues into him going into this room. It's filmed like this. It's one day.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic movie. Very, very good. Dunkirk was also very, very good.
Yeah, Dunkirk was so good.
Definitely good. Christopher Nolan is a very good director. I think sometimes though he can get a little too heady, too unnecessarily heady. I don't know if you saw his latest one, Tenet.
No, I haven't. I want to see it though. Is it on Netflix?
I don't know.
HBO Max?
Probably on HBO Max, if anything. It's a good movie, but there's a lot of there's a lot even in Interstellar. I thought Interstellar was good.
That was really good.
But there's some moments in there where you're like, I don't know, unnecessary exposition.
I felt like I wasn't smart enough to watch the second part of that movie.
Yeah.
I got very confused.
Yeah.
I think it's in a black hole. But I like that movie. But yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
But when you go in that direction with like very intellectually dense topics, like, black holes or string theory or whatever, whatever you're talking, or, time travel, you have to have a lot of this unnecessary exposition where you have people going, but we can't do that because of blank, but blank, but blank. And it's almost spoon feeding the story as opposed to letting the story show.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of takes away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess it may be necessary for that kind of movie. Who knows?
Yeah. Now we're going to wrap this up soon because this has been a long podcast, longer than I thought it would go. This is good.
It's been fun. It's been great.
Success. One movie, I was surprised it was so good and so simple, and had to have been a very low budget movie and an old black and white movie, and I just sat and watched it. Anytime it's on TV, I will watch it. 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men is a great movie. Yeah, fantastic.
I was like, this is a great movie. Oh my God. Like the fact that it's one scene, it's one room. There's nothing else to it, and I thought it was just it was a fantastic movie.
And that's good writing.
Absolutely. And there have been plays done on it. They actually did a really bad Pauly Shore remake long time ago. Obviously in the 90s, he played, obviously, Pauly Shore being.
Was it Pauly Shore on stage, and then there was 12 audience members, and those were the angry men? They were angry that they had to sit through a Pauly Shore show.
It was only 12 people wanted to go to a show.
Yeah.
They were German tourists, and they weren't sure who Pauly Shore was.
Yeah, and is he going to smash the watermelon, or? It's like, no, that's a different guy. You're going to be angry at the end of this.
They were so angry, but it was a terrible. But then I showed them in the hotel, so it wasn't true to the movie. But the original black and white, I watch it anytime it's on TV. Excellent film.
That is an excellent film. Mine is not going to be as good as that. If I'm trying to think of a movie that I was very surprised at how good it was, I would say, and this came out a couple years ago, was the movie Role Models.
I love that movie.
Yeah, when it came out, I thought it didn't get a lot of advertising.
No.
And it almost, like, just looking at the cover, I thought it was going to be like a shitty American Pie kind of remix. But I like Paul Rudd, and but I saw it and I was like, this is really funny. And then it kind of caught on to the point of, like, people were like, I think I'll get around to seeing that. And then everybody that sees it likes it. It's a very funny movie. Sean William Scott, Paul Rudd are very funny. But that was a movie that I had the worst expectations for.
Really?
And it was very good. I think it's hilarious.
I like Paul Rudd no matter what. That's my wife's crush, along with Ryan Gosling. She's a huge Ryan Gosling. Every woman is a Ryan Gosling fan.
I was going to say Paul Rudd, Ryan Gosling. I don't think many women have these thoughts.
For her birthday, I always get her Ryan Gosling on a cake. We've been can't go anywhere, so we've been lounging around. I bought her a pillow cover of a shirtless Ryan Gosling.
And that's why you guys slept. You slept on the couch, and she slept in the bed.
She's like, "I'll just stay here tonight. You can go to the bed." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, something's going on. But
I want you to make a pillowcase or something where it's Ryan Gosling's face, but still your body. A shirtless your body with Ryan.
That's just
Gosling.
a lie. That's just a lie.
Yeah.
Real quick here. Okay. Are you a beer guy, wine guy, or a bourbon guy? What are you?
I am a beer guy. I'm a beer guy, but I do like me some whiskey. But I do that in moderation. But whenever I get drunk, it's normally off of beer, because I can normally temper my amount of drunkenness with beer.
I'm good with any of those. It just depends on a night.
Except, say that again?
I'm good at any of those. It depends on the night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of night dictates what?
A cold night is a nice dark. I like dark beer. A cold night is a dark beer. Bourbon's kind of just sitting around, have a couple drinks. Wine is when I'm driving.
I was gonna say, writing a ransom note.
If I want to feel healthy, I'll drink wine, because they claim, like, if you have a glass of wine is like going to the gym. That's what you ever seen that study?
No.
Yeah, apparently.
Maybe for your heart. But not for your body.
I think that's what they're saying, but a lot of people are just trying to get out of going to the gym. But
I went to the gym 4 times today.
I'm going to the gym right now.
Yeah. What if you drink a glass of wine at the gym? That's like 2 a days when you're working out 2 a days.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's red wine, white wine, no good, no bueno.
Too much sugar. Yeah.
It's like, you take the good, it's actually white wine, they're taking all the healthy stuff out of wine. Kind of like coffee. The caffeinated coffee is actually not a good thing to drink, because there actually is still some caffeine in coffee, in decaffeinated coffee.
I did not know that.
If you're ever in Cincinnati, there's a really good, it's called Urbana Cafe. I swear by it, best coffee. Next time you're in Cincinnati, I'm going to take you there.
And we're going to work out like a couple times together when I'm there. We get some wine and work out.
I got a couple bottles. The gym.
Hit the gym. I've always wanted to do it. If that's working out, then when there's people doing marathons, I want to hand them a cup of red wine and just have them splash it in their face.
Yeah. Well, I've got plenty of all that. So next time you come through, we're gonna do that. So and hopefully we get to work together in Florida in June. I'm done at
Dude.
Spitfire Comedy Club, so we gotta do that.
Hell
That's
yeah,
gonna be your town. You're moving to, so we're gonna.
St. Pete.
You know what? I'm headlining it. You're gonna come and co-headline it, or you're gonna feature, whichever one.
Okay, so are they putting you up down there?
I believe they are. So
Okay.
they should be.
By June, I should have the whole city pretty much known, and I'll show you the best coffee spots and stuff like that.
But you get down to like Cuban land, which is the best coffee by far. If you can find a good Cuban restaurant, like coffee and the bread, it's like people like bread. The Cuban bread is like none other. It's
Cuban food in general. Cuban food in general is so good.
We're trying to. My wife and I are trying to go to Cuba in maybe a year or so, so. Hopefully that happens.
Well, you don't have to worry because obviously with this socialist regime coming into the White House, America's going to become Cuba. So you won't even have to leave the country, man.
You're so political. Look at you. You're so political.
You're so political. Stop it.
Aren't you supposed to be on a Daily Show soon?
Yes, I am. I'm supposed to be.
Well, cool.
It's last day tomorrow with Dylan Vattelana.
Yeah. Well, Dylan, do you have a website people can watch you, they can follow you or stalk you on?
Yeah. A website, dylanstandsup.com, Instagram @dylanstandsup, Twitter, same thing @dylanstandsup. My Grindr account has been deactivated for the next 12 hours because of some tweets that I sent, but those should be coming back on soon. But yeah, you find me on any of those, just Google Dylan Vattelana and you'll find me. Yeah. Let's be friends.
We'll add those links onto the podcast page and on the YouTube thing here when this is posted. We'll add those links. I would ask you, do you have shows coming up, Dylan? But
I actually do. I actually do. I'm going to be headlining. It's not till Valentine's Day weekend. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Comedy Catch in the old historic Chattanooga Choo Choo train station.
Nice.
So I'll be headlining there, and that'll be sweet. I'm very excited about that because it's hard to get out on the road, but when you do, you don't phone it in anymore. This is all you're giving it your A material the entire time.
Yeah, man, that's I'm jealous. It's nice to get back on the road. But you know what? Hopefully this is over sooner than we think. So. Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I wish the best of luck to you on the road there in Chattanooga. Probably get some good whiskey down there. So
probably. It's also just fun to say. It's fun to say that word.
Chattanooga. Yeah,
Chattanooga.
It actually is fun to say. Cool.
Sounds like an old car horn.
Chattanooga. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks. Good seeing you. Good catching up. Had a blast having you on. This has been a fun podcast. I say that for all of them, but sincerely, this is a fun podcast. So
you're the man. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks so much, man. We'll catch you later. Later, bro.